الله الكبير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله الكبير. Again, we owe a lot to God today, and He's bestowed this blessing upon us and allowed us to be here today. And this is a huge blessing, and this is by divine design and providence that we are privileged to do this act of worship here and get closer to our Creator, which is the most important thing that we can do during our lifetime here on this planet. So it's an honor. It should be looked at as a way that we can get more of life and enjoy life better, and then get ready for the hereafter, which is the real thing. And this worldly life is nothing but an illusion, as God says. But there are happiness and sadness in this world, and God will fix it for you, so you'll be content. And only if we abide by God's laws and His commandments and His instructions. So it is always for us to remember this, that we are here for predetermined time, and that only God knows what that time is for everybody. And so only the time and the place is known to God alone and no one else. And that's also a huge blessing by Him. And so we should be grateful to Him for all of the blessings that He has given us. Again, gratefulness and appreciativeness is a godlike quality, and we have to follow His path, which is the straight path, and the easiest and the only way that we can get to God is the straight path. So what I wanted to discuss with you today is, let's see if I can get this thing is acting up today. There we go. Okay. All right. This is chapter 56, which is called The Event. And so I want to read some of these verses, starting with verse 75 of this chapter. And God is telling us, I therefore swore by the position of the stars. Okay, and then God says, and then this is certainly a mighty oath if you only knew. Okay. And God says, this is indeed an honorable honor. Okay. And so so God is speaking to us in this way by taking an oath to the position of the stars. And we went through this and we learned so much about what we did not know before. That God told us that these position of the stars are a lot more complicated than you looking at the star, at the North Star or something. The position of the stars is always changing. Okay? Today we have a new position in the entire universe. And I talked about this, okay? So the galaxy is rotating, okay? And our star, which is the sun, is revolving around the galaxy and make this revolution every 220 million years, 250 million years. I don't know what, nobody knows probably, but they just guess at it, okay? So, but even by that, we are in a new position. Now, imagine now that also the universe is expanding. So this universe is not the same universe as the other revolution of the galaxy. So we are not in the same position. We are in a different position. And this is only unique to us. Today we are in this position, and God has entrusted us with this universe that we live in. And so we have to be on best behavior, that we follow His instructions. Okay. And God says, this is certainly a mighty oath if you only knew. Obviously, it is a mighty oath. Okay? Because those positions of these stars are only known to God alone and no one else. Okay? And they are following the path of God absolutely to the iota. They never violate it. They never violate God's commandments. So is there supposed to be X, Y, Z at time T? Okay, they are there. They're not late. Okay, they do not go someplace else by mistake. They're always that position that God has assigned to them. And when you look at that, chapter 67 says, look again. Do you see any flaw? And then God says, your eyes will come back to you subdued. Okay. So when God says that they were responsible for their acts and you respond for your acts, God is talking about in so many different dimensions that you cannot even fathom. Because our position in the universe is not the same position as those guys that lived 1,400 years ago, or 2,000 years ago, or 5,000 years ago. They had a different place. They went through their tests as God fit for them to go through those tests. You and I and all these people that are living around us, they have a different thing. And God says, this is indeed an honorable Quran. Okay. And it is in a protected book. Remember we talked about this? Mathematics makes it protected. Okay. You are surrounded by the commandments in the Quran by the mathematics, those numbers that we are showing every week. They are responsible for the generating the Quran. Not to go count stuff in the Quran. Okay? Forget it. That is old stuff. Okay? I'm showing you these are the facts that we are generating from the mathematics, and they are confirming the Quranic facts and the Quranic narration that God is describing in the Quran. So which means that everything that He tells us in the Quran is the truth. Okay. Because it doesn't matter where you are in this universe. Okay. The 19th prime number is 67. It's not going to change. You go to Andromeda, the 19th prime number is still 67. You go to NGC 1068, the same thing. You go to the Pinwheel Galaxy, the same thing. It's not going to change. It's not going to change 5,000 years ago. It wasn't changed 5,000 years ago. It's not going to change a billion years from now. It's going to stay the same. And then God is telling us no one can understand except for the pure at heart. Okay? That's the interpretation of this verse that we have to understand. We have to read the Quran and understand it. Not to go wash your face or do ablution or something like that before you touch the Quran. Quran is not ink and paper. Forget about that. The ink and paper can be changed, and it has changed. You take one Quran and you take another Quran, the spellings are different. It tells you how to spell it. It tells you how the verse structure is supposed to be like. Okay. So a revelation from the Lord of the multiverse, then God is saying, then it says, are you taking this narration lightly? أَفَبِهَذَا الْحَدِيثَ أَنْتُمْ مُدْهِنُونَ? Hadith again. This is the Quran, is the Hadith. There is no other Hadith. The people are taking it lightly, they gravitate towards other Hadith, and they call those Hadith too. Okay. Are you making it your business to stubbornly reject it? And then God is giving a warning here. This is time of death for these people. Then when it reaches the throat, this is your soul is reaching the throat, wants to get out of the body. Okay? Trying to hide inside the body. Can't. Has to leave. The body has submitted to God, has surrendered itself to God, had a lifespan, and that lifespan is finished. And the soul is reaching the throat, trying to get out. He says, and you all look around wondering, these are the people who are around this guy who is dying. They're all looking around, they don't know what to do. They can't do anything. Absolutely nothing. However, God says, we are closer to him than all of you, but you cannot see. God is there. Okay. When somebody is dying, a lot of people are sad. You got to make sure that you understand the fact that God is there with that person. Hasn't left them. Bad or good. Okay. And then God says, bring her back if you're truthful. I'm sorry. It says, وَلَوْلَا إِن كُنْتُمْ غَيْرَ مَدِينِينَ. Therefore, if you do not owe anything, we all owe to God. All of us. Went through our lives, wasted some of our times that we had. We disobeyed God's commandments. We threw it behind our backs. We saw the consequences. We did not learn. We did more. Okay. Time to repent. Some of those repentance times we missed. Okay. We owe so much to God. God is saying that if you do not owe anything, bring her back if you're truthful. Bring the soul back if you're truthful. That's not the case, huh? It's gone. This person is gone. And then God says, then if he is one of the close ones, he'll have enjoyment and a paradise full of bliss. These are those as-sabiqun. Okay? These are the elite of the elites, the front runners. Nobody can catch them. Okay. And then God says, okay, this has carelessly, the word al-yamin has been connotated in Arabic and in Farsi and in all kinds of people who use yamin as the right hand. This has created so much trouble in this world. They hated people who were left-handed. Okay? All kinds of stuff came out of this because they did not understand it. The people of the right, or the people of the right hand, or he's on the right-hand side of the God. Okay? These are nonsense when people do not understand. Yum or Yemen means blessed. He's a place which is blessed. Yemen is a place which is blessed. It doesn't mean the right side. Right side of what? Okay. Janib Tur al-Ayman. The right side of the mountain. What is the right side of the mountain? Think about it a little bit. Okay. It's a blessed mountain. That's what it is. The same thing in here. You see, وَأَمَّا إِنْ كَانَ مِنْ أَصْحَابِ الْيَمِينِ. If he is the dwellers of the bliss, then peace upon you from the dwellers of bliss. And then now these are the guys. And if he is one of the liars, the deviators, some people are practiced and promiscuous liars. They like to lie all the time. They tell lies to other people. They mislead people. Disinformation, misinformation, anything that they can do is just basically a lie. And then he will then descend into intolerable hell and the abode of the inferno. This guy is going to end up in hell. And then God says, indeed, this is the absolute truth. The narration that God gave us is an absolute truth. Okay? So no matter how you look at it, that person in the state of death, God is right there. Okay? If you think you can help or do something, don't worry about it. God is there. Okay? Then God says, therefore glorify the name of your Lord the Great. فَسَبِّحْ بِاسْمِ رَبِّكَ الْعَظِيمِ. Therefore, Subhan Rabbi al-Azim. And that's why it's so important. We call it Raka when you go to bow. Okay, that's what you say. And that's what we have to take from these things. And as I said, we learn so much from these verses. The verses were not interesting to us. We were trying to finish it. It was too burdensome. We had other things to do. We had better things to do. We didn't want to listen to this stuff. These are boring. Political stuff are better. Let's talk about those things. This is not the place of politics. This is the place to glorify God alone. Okay? That's what we are trying to do. Because by doing that, we learn more and more and more and more. This is the beauty of this book. Okay. Now I'm going to show you in the next rak'ah, or the ruku that we do 17 times. Okay. And those, I'm going to show you the way that we are generating this. And I am using this word generating. Okay? So please do not count things anymore. I don't want to count anything. That's been done. That's almost 40 years old, 50 years old. Okay? That was good for its time. It was a different universe. We had different tests back then. We have different tests today. Okay? I'm going to stop here and we'll finish this unit. Allahu Kabir.